What is up, guys? We just got the Carolina Pines RV Resort, and we're just gonna check this place out and show you what it's like. It's a little bit rainy right now, but stick around because you're really gonna enjoy this video. This place is insane, so let's just check it out. All right, folks. Well, this is Carolina Pines down in South Carolina, a place in what's this called Conway, South Carolina, just north of Myrtle Beach. And this is by far the nicest RV resort Jessica and I have ever been to. It's taken us quite a while to learn how to figure out this kind of algorithm to finding and booking RV resorts. Basically, Jesse and I have been camping for about 5 years now, and we are an RV resort type of couple. We normally book only RV resorts, and we'll go up to the mountains quite a bit as well. But normally we're at a resort, and there really is kind of like a secret in how you are going to do this. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this resort here, and we'll kind of drive around and show you a lot of the areas of this park. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to give you 7 tips that you can use in order for you to figure out how to make sure you're booking the right place, because believe it or not, there's actually quite a bit of scheme places out there that will just post all these beautiful pictures and tell you that they're a resort and all of this and yada yada yada. I mean, we fell into a couple of those before. There was a place up in West Virginia we booked for some trail riding, because this is an off-road channel, but we were just totally taken back because the park looked nothing like the pictures whatsoever, and it was really disappointing, and we put a lot of money into that trip. So nonetheless, here we go. First and foremost, when you are looking at one of these parks, you definitely want to make sure you got a lot of stuff for the kiddos. If you have a family, this place, definitely check that box times 10. Believe it or not, this place actually has a lot of tiny homes for sale and for rent, for reserving. So the blue ones on the right hand side, those are all tiny homes for sale. They're very nice. You can go on their website and look at the pictures of the insides of these things. They're pretty sharp. A lot of them have those pretty cool decks up on the top as well, so you can kind of go up there and chill out and catch the scene and see what's going on out here. But they just have a ton of them. So throughout this video, you're going to see quite a bit. They have a lot, and they are for sale. From what I was able to capture on the website, most of these are going for about $100K each. And you can get different types of versions as well. They do come in different floor plans. But if you're looking at a place like this, or to go to an RV resort and you're going with friends, you're going to want to find a place like this that has these RV sites integrated into the tiny home areas, so that way you can all be in the same area. Because believe it or not, this place is huge. They have actually 3 major areas of this place all penciled out and laid out. So but here we go on to the really nice sports courts. I think they call this like the Sportsplex. They have tennis and basketball and all kinds of stuff. And this was the only area I could find that had these types of things for this, for like the sports, for like basketball and stuff. So the courts are all really beautiful. They're super clean. And that's one of the things that makes this place just stand out as well. There is no trash anywhere. But here are the courts for the kiddos, for them to go out and just kind of burn some energy. And well, for the dads too. I'm just realizing that looks like an older gentleman there. But here we go over to the kind of like the shopping, activities, pools, mini golf complex. This place was immaculate. You could tell that this resort puts a lot of time and energy into making sure they satisfy their customers. So we're gonna come back to that kind of like that court area pretty soon here. But this is probably the gem for all of you who have children, especially little children around the ages of, I would say, probably 2 to 6 or 8. But this is the child's kind of like the water park. It's gigantic, and the water is really, really shallow. So I think the water is only like 1.5 feet. But that sports wet area thing was just, it's huge. And believe it or not, there's quite a bit of adults who are going through with their children. I think some of the adults are having more fun than the kids. But you can rent those little cabanas. They do cost money. They're not free. So, and then here is the concession. They had 2 big concessions in this place. We'll come back to that as well later. But here is the mini golf. Very clean. This is probably the nicest mini golf area I've actually been to in years. I don't go to a lot of them, but I've been to many of them, and I mean, I don't go to a lot all the time, but I've been to many of them, and this is by far the nicest one I've ever been to. And it's really cool because all the RV sites are right next to them. Here's one of the more beautiful holes here. It's got the waterfall and the fountain. It's pretty cool. There's Jessie girl. She killed me, by the way. Jessie annihilated me on this mini golf course. I think she beat me by about 7 strokes, which is just crazy. Yeah. So here's the other side of the complex. And there's a lot of stuff in here specifically for the kids. And there's also a general store. I didn't get a lot of film of the general store, but it's got quite a bit of stuff in there, including a lot of RV supplies if you need any. Maybe you forget like your sewer hose, or they have full extension cables for 50 and 30 amp in there. So just plenty of stuff in the general store, and it's cool to just kind of go in there and look around. But the other things that they had in here for the kids was something really cool. Was this miniature bowling alley. I've never seen one of these before, and this is really cool. The lane, it looks like it's about 1/3 of the length of a real bowling alley, but it was really clean and looked like a lot of fun. And this is actually free. So the bowling alley is free. The arcade is not. So the arcade, it takes quarters and things of that nature. So, but it was also really cool. It's been a while since I've been into an arcade, but you know, if I was a kid and I was coming to a place like this, I more than likely would be in here quite a bit, as long as my mom and pop would have let me give me some cash. But here's the courtyard. This is for more of, you know, we're transitioning into the adults area. And this is really what you're gonna want as well in a resort. You're gonna want a place where you can just kind of leave your RV, because you know you'll get a little bit of that cabin fever. Come out here, read a book, surf the net, or whatever you know floats your boat. But this place was really nice. They also had a billiards area. And this is really cool too, because we're not the types of people to go inside a lot into places when we're out at our resorts. More than likely, Jessie and I are hanging out by the pool. But a lot of people do like to go, and they'll go inside. They'll do, you know, they'll work out. We've seen plenty of people running in here on the treadmills because the weather wasn't too great when we were there, but it was actually nice enough for us to have a really good time. So this place had it all. I mean, they even have a ballroom where, you know, you could, if you were interested in looking at getting married or whatever the case may be, throwing like a family reunion and having dinners. All right, so now that you have a pretty good idea of what a resort should actually look like, this is a no joke resort. This thing's really beautiful. So let's go ahead and get on to our 7 pointers, so that way you have an idea of the things you can do to help you reserve the right resort for you. So pointer number 1, the secret number 1, is basically know what you're looking for. Depending on what your mood is or what it is you expect to get out of your resort, you might just want to go out and sit by the pool all day, or maybe you do want to go out and you want to have a place to work out, you want to have a place for all the kids, you want to make sure there's pools and arcades and things just like this place. So basically really know what you want out of your RV resort experience. And which leads me to pointer number 2, is to make sure you pick the right venue. So do you want to be in the mountains? Do you want to be by the beach? You know, those are just things that you're going to have to figure out ahead of time, because that will also help you decide where specifically you want your RV park to be, basically kind of like a general area. So once you have those 2 figured out, you're going to start looking for RV resorts online. We used Google. We just Google the specific area we want to look for, and we type in resort or whatever the case may be. The next thing that we do is we only rely on website pictures so much. So be really careful with those galleries that are out there. because you'll be surprised. They do not always show you all of the surrounding areas around the park. They'll give you the nicest, beautiful, most perfect pictures out there, but then you'll reserve a spot and then you'll get an area that looks kind of like this part here, that we've showed you in the video. This is the part we showed you was area 3 that they were developing, and it's not even close to being done. So you could be reserving a spot and not even know that your patio is looking over a bunch of construction. So be really careful with those pictures. They can be deceiving. And the only way you can really validate that is to give them a call. So this fourth secret that we have on our list here is to call that RV resort that you're really interested in. And when you call them, however, you've got to have specific questions ready for them. You've got to be asking them, hey, is your resort under construction? You know, do you said, I mean, it looks like there's a pool. How many pools do you have? Are they, you know, children friendly? Do you have a lifeguard on, you know, when the pool is open? So just make sure you ask really specific questions so that way you can have some expectation management for when you get to that resort. And when you call them, you know, pointer number 5 is to see if they have a 10-year or older RV policy. Believe it or not, a lot of higher end areas have a policy on how old your RV can be in order for you to be able to reserve a spot. And the reason why they do that is because they want to make sure that the RVs that are coming to visit are going to be able to provide all the other individuals a really good experience, because there are a lot of older, dilapidated RVs, and the last thing I want is to be right next to this super old RV that just looks terrible, and you know, these individuals have just junk all over their patio and area. So just got to be really careful with that. Not saying that that's a bad thing, but that's not what I want to see when I'm on vacation. So pointer number 6 is to ask if they're still under development. Like I said before, you got to be really careful with that, because a lot of places we've been before have been under development and under construction. So with construction comes construction vehicles. So there's dump trucks and, you know, backhoes and all kinds of stuff that just make a ton of noise. And so you just gotta be really careful with that. And pointer number 7, and the final pointer that we have for you on our list of pointers and secrets, is to lock in your site. If you get the perfect site that you want, to make sure that you're in a perfect place for you and your family, lock it in. Normally they have an option for you to do that, and basically it's usually about a $30 service fee, and it basically guarantees your site is going to be where you reserved it, because a lot of times they will not honor the site that you reserved, and there is a little fine writing in your reservation that basically tells you that they do not guarantee the sites all the time. So when you call them, ask them if they offer that service and do it. All right, folks, well, that does it for this video. Thanks a lot for chilling out with us. Here we are at our campsite. This is our Lance 2465 with our RAM and things of that nature. But we had a really good time here. We hope you liked the video. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We hope to see you next time. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you like. We have a lot of off-road stuff that we do here, but nonetheless, thanks a lot, and we'll catch you next time.